Yo, what up, YouTube? It's Bryce. Gonna do that Piper Chow's deck profile, aka Piper Chaos. So first off, I want to show you that apparently the name gets censored on Duel Links. Like I cannot save the name Piper Chaos, which is hilarious to me. But anyway, let's get into the deck profile. I have been playing this in like the KC whatever tournament thing. I'm on, I think, like stage 11 so far. I don't know that this will be able to get you to stage 20 or whatever, but it's a fun deck to play while you're climbing. So yeah, I'll explain all the card choices pretty in depth. So the first card in the deck is Caius. I just run one Caius because I only have one. I'm not sure whether I would run two Caius, one Zaborg, or the ratio that I have right now though, honestly. Caius is obviously an amazing card, but the deck already has an okay number of darks. And then the next card, Chaos Sorcerer itself, obviously kind of the boss monster and the namesake of the deck. So this can banish stuff. It can also push for game. Being 23 is pretty good. And being 23, Chaos Sorcerer and any of the Monarchs, honestly, they combo really well with this Sylvan Princess Sprite card to go for game, basically, because it's just over 4,000 then. So yeah, Chaos Sorcerer, banish stuff, OP. You can synchro with it then, just like you could do back in the day. Pretty good. Jinzo, this card obviously stops traps. It's another good like tribute monster. Sometimes you don't want to have to destroy a monster, basically, or have to banish a card. So Jinzo can be good like turn 1 or whatever, or on your first turn. The next card, Glow Up Bulb. This card's amazing. It's a level 1, so you can draw it off Piper. Its effect lets you set up tribute summons, fairly guaranteed, basically. And also, it can sometimes mill you that light or dark that you need with its effect as well. So that's pretty good. And also, it being a tuner, extra relevant now that Formula Syncron is out. Shout out Formula. That's what kind of inspired me to come back and play the deck. 3 Mystic Piper. This card, obviously pretty hard to obtain in Duel Links, but I put in my time basically and finally got them. So I love this deck and I'm glad that I'm able to play it. And I'm glad that they finally released Caius as well then. So yeah, 3 Piper. I feel like you have to run 3. It's kind of one of the only lights in the deck, actually. It's just Piper and Zaborg. So you definitely have to run 3 Piper, I feel like. It also lets you draw cards. If you don't know what it does, you tribute it, you draw a card and reveal it. If it's a level 1, then you get to draw another card. So that's kind of what fuels the deck. So you either get to like draw into a level 1 and then hopefully into a Chaos Sorcerer or something, or whatever, you get to draw a card. Maybe it's a Soul Exchange. So the next monster is Sphere Crebo. You definitely do need some protection in the deck. You usually want to open, a Sphere Crebo, a Kiteroid, or one of your back row to feel safe. So we do run the 1 Sphere Crebo. It's also a dark, which is really good, being able to put a dark in grave sometimes. Zaborg. We run 2 Zaborg. This is pretty good. It destroys, which is way less good than banishing, but we do need light monsters basically. Kiteroid. This card is ridiculous. I'm not even sure if this card is in the TCG now as a physical card or not. I don't play the modern TCG, but I know at one point basically this card was only in Duel Links, which is funny. So this card's amazing. You can discard it basically to stop a direct attack, and then you can banish it from your grave to stop another direct attack. So it's like a 2-for-1 in 1 card. It's also a level 1. It's limited to 2 in Duel Links, and that's for a reason, which is it's pretty good. The next card, Kinkabayo. This is the other half of the Piper Chaos combo. Basically, it's a spirit monster, so it goes back to your hand every turn. But when it's normal summoned, you get to special a level 1 from your grave. And then in theory, the monster will be banished when Kinkabayo or it leaves the field. But if you get a Mystic Piper, you just tribute it, it goes to the grave, you get its effect. It's pretty good. You could also grab any of the level 1s. I think I skipped over Unknown Syncron earlier, actually. So Unknown Syncron, it's obviously just kind of a Cyber Dragon type card. You can special summon it when your opponent controls a monster. And it enables a variety of plays, honestly. You can obviously set up a tribute summon with it. That's kind of the main thing I use it for. But you can also combo it with any level 1. like a Piper, even a Sphere Crebo or something, to make a Formula or make a Sylvan Princess Sprite. Like it's just a level 1 monster that gets on the board for free, which is not bad. Basically, it's also a dark. But yeah, Kinkabio. It can get back anything, and then you can make a Sylvan Princess Sprite or a Formula Syncron. So yeah, that's kind of the monsters of the deck. Only 2 Kinkabio by choice, because I definitely think 3 would clog. I think 3 sometimes even clogs in a 40 card deck. So on to the brief back row section. Got 1 Book of Moon. This card combos pretty well with Jinzo as well as with Treacherous Trap Hole, because Book of Moon is basically a trap card, but it's not. So it catches people off guard. Also, it's just a good card in general. It can definitely combo with Kinkabio to an extent, because Kinkabio having 400 attack is more relevant than you'd think sometimes. A lot of stuff has 0, 200, 100 defense, and Book of Moon and Kinkabio, OP. Soul Exchange, really strong removal. Basically, this deck's even kind of remotely viable because you can Soul Exchange their monster and then summon a Zaborg or a Caius, and then take out another one of their monsters or another card if it's a Caius. So yeah, Soul Exchange really strong in the deck. You can also go for Jinzo turn 1 with Soul Exchange, like I was saying. Where Arf Thou? This is a card that I'm not sure actually belongs in the deck, but I really like the card personally, because super long-term viewers of my channel will know that I played Piper Chaos back in the day, when Return of the Duelist was a new set, for example. And I also played Piper Exodia, and those deck profiles are some of the most popular videos that I've ever had. So I definitely am pretty partial to Where Art Thou. So I like the card and I include it in the deck. Basically, what it lets you do is search a level 1 if you control a level 1. So that's another way that Unknown Syncron can come in clutch, or Glow Up Bulb in desperate situations. You can get a level 1 on board without normal summoning, and then you can search any level 1 that you need, basically, whether that be Kinkabio or Piper usually, or Kiteroid if you're incredibly desperate. Yeah, so the last card, Treacherous Trap Hole. This card wins games on its own. Really good. If you open this, you're sitting great, basically. But you can only run 1 because of Kiteroid and vice versa. The Synchros. Stardust Dragon is the 8-star that I run. I sometimes wish that I had a bigger monster because of all the Blue Eyes stuff that's running around. Like even at least a Thought Ruler to get over the 2500 one. It also gets over Dark Magician and stuff then. So I do think about that. Black Rose Dragon. This is another one. This is really good. Basically, I go for this all the time. Not all the time, but if I'm going for a synchro, it's usually a Black Rose into like a strong push for game afterwards with a Chaos Sorcerer or something. Ancient Fairy Dragon has put in a hilarious amount of work recently, with all the field spells that people play. Basically, you can pop their field spell, and it feels good. And then you have an Ancient Fairy Dragon on board, which is also a light, technically. Formula Synchron, like I said, this inspired me to come back and play the deck. It lets you draw a card on summon. You can summon it with level 1s. And yeah, basically, I also, if this video does well, I'm considering basically buying another one of the structure decks and building like a Formula Monarchs deck. So yeah, if you want to see that, then leave a comment or whatever, or thumbs up the video. Even just watching the video, if enough people do that, I'll probably go ahead and make that deck as well. The last Synchro monster, Archfiend's Call. This card has actually definitely won me a game on its own because people don't read it, which is interesting because it's actually a pretty good and pretty recent card relative to a lot of synchros. Basically, it can't be targeted by card effects. 2500 6-star. It's really good. It has a lot of words on it because it needs to be treated as an Archfiend and stuff, but and it has an effect technically, but basically, yeah, what it does, it's a dark, can't be targeted, OP. And then Sylvan Princess Sprite. This is a card that is massively underrated. This was not out when I was playing the deck in the TCG back in the day. So this card I love going for. Not only is it a light, it's 1800, which is pretty strong. There used to be like a ghost trick card that you could go for that was like 1200 and it could half things. So you could get over stuff with that, but an 1800 base attack is pretty good and it lets you get over stuff. and it's honestly decently threatening. And like I said, it pairs with your little tribute or mini boss monsters for OTKs actually. But it has an effect that's relevant as well. You get to detach, and then you technically you mill the card, or you excavate it, I think, or whatever. Yeah, you excavate it, and then if it's a spell or trap, then you add it to your hand. And if anything else, it goes to grave. So it lets you basically potentially mill monsters or add a back row to your hand. So basically, it's a win-win in this type of deck. I really like that card. That's why it's the one that I run 2 of out of all the things. And I do sometimes go for 2 of that. The only other thing that I want 2 of sometimes is Formula, but we're very limited on extra deck space in Duel Links, obviously. I think the last thing I need to mention is that I'm running Draw Sense Dark. You could run Draw Sense Light, Draw Sense Dark. You could run Heavy Hitter, Heavy Starter, or whatever they call it, or Draw Sense High Level. You could run any of those. The deck is not really reliant on a specific skill. Sometimes I also wish I just had the tie that binds to get over something with a Monarch, but I otherwise couldn't, or to go for game. Like there was one time when I could have had game if I just had the tie that binds, basically. So yeah, that is the deck profile. I feel like I gave possibly borderline annoyingly in-depth explanations of everything, but hopefully if people don't understand how the cards are supposed to interact in a productive way, that this has given, you know, a better explanation of that. If you like the video, like I said, please thumbs up the video, comment, and say that you like it. Yeah, and if you want to see the Formula Monarch deck profile, say that too. Thanks for watching, and peace.